Hi, my name is Insha. I'm a writer, author, and resident spooky person. And my lovely.
Hi, I am Stephanie, and I am also a writer, and I am an editor too on comics and graphic novels. I've worked on this lovely series as well as another called Paranorthern and the Chaos Bunny Hopcalypse. But together, Insha and I wrote Oh My Gods 1 and 2.
Today, we're going to talk about our process and how working together is and how you can create your own character. And then we'll quiz you on your mythology knowledge. Want to get started?
Yeah, I'm so excited. We have known each other for a really long time. We started out as friends before we were collaborators. So when we talk about getting started working together, we were friends first, and that connection formed long before we ever really decided we wanted to be co-authors, co-writers on any sort of project. Insha and I both really love pop culture, and we teamed up to run an entertainment website where we could discuss all the nerdy things that we loved. And from there, again, that friendship just kept kind of like growing and solidifying. And then from that, our love of Greek mythology, right? Like one day, Insha, we were just like, Greek mythology, like, we love it. And it just kind of spiraled.
It was like, I love this god. I love this goddess. Oh my God, wait, we should totally write something together about Greek mythology. And then, yeah that's how we got started. Everything Stephanie said. It's so easy and free-flowing because, as Stephanie said, we were friends first. So once we got into the groove of just being like, Greek mythology is dope, then that's kind of when the ball started rolling.
Yeah. And I think I'd had like Greek mythology was a sandbox I'd wanted to play in for a really long time creatively. And I'd had, I think, a few ideas kind of stored away and was just like telling Insha about them one day. And the seed of what would become Oh My Gods was in there. And we just, kept going back and forth. And I think it kind of started as a joke initially, where we were just like, what if we did something like this? But we couldn't get it out of our heads. The idea just kept growing and becoming something that we couldn't just leave. And we persisted at it. And here we are today.
2 books down.
I know. So that's really how we got started, starting with a strong friendship first and then becoming collaborators and using that foundation to, be great communicators and make a book together.
Do you want to talk about the behind the scenes process and everything we have flowing through the process?
Yeah. A lot of people don't really know how much work goes into a comic or graphic novel. When you think about like a prose book or a chapter book, kind of what you see is what you get. That's what the author has put on the page and has been subsequently published. But with comics, there's a lot of different steps and a lot of different collaborators that can be a part of that process. So Insha and I are just the tip of the iceberg.
And especially together, we wanted to come up with like this great world, again, based off of like everything that both of us knew about Greek mythology, but then kind of make them a little bit different and kind of make them a little bit like us in a weird way and everybody that we've ever known. So wanted to make these characters feel like people. And it took kind of having like Artemis and Apollo and the basis that we knew with Greek mythology and kind of just putting them into people that we would either like love, like, hate, want to go out with, want to have a picnic with, would actually share a whole slice of pizza with. Like it had to be people that we could like form as fully formed people in a new magical world. And then like you can see what I love to do is I love to create Pinterest boards and kind of like personality boards for each and every one of the characters, while I also love to do Spotify playlists. So I know what the characters listen to. I know what they like to feel. I know what they like to go out and do. And I know what they like to kind of like do in their spare time, make them fully formed human beings before absolutely anything. And even with I think my favorite one of all of these is Artemis, because it's such a baddie energy with such a tomboy energy, and just that's her in a nutshell. She's
Yeah.
perfect.
And you're so good at like fleshing out the characters. Like you just do such a good job of adding dimension to them and giving them a really unique vibe and feel. And this was such a fun collaboration because you made them feel so alive, and we divided up a lot of like the tasks and then kind of just checked in with each other a lot to make sure that everything was coming together in ways that we were both on board for. So this is a final page from the first book. Alongside that is a page from the script. And as you can see, they look very different from the final art. You don't see a lot of the words here. And so with a comic script, it's similar to a TV or movie script, not quite the same, but you want to basically create art direction for the artist so that you're not giving them too much information. You're just giving them exactly the right amount of information they need to build the scene and include the essential facts on the page, and then give them the artistic freedom to play around with whatever else they want. But you also have to include things like captions and the dialogue for each of the characters, as well as fun things like onomatopoeias and sound effects. And onomatopoeias, just a really fun word to say, but something when I was young, I didn't think would come back to be a huge part of my life. But in comics, they use sound effects to make it almost feel like you're immersed in the story, because the sound effects that you're reading on the page that imitate specific sounds you're familiar with make you feel like you're hearing those things as you read the story. So you're responsible for doing stuff like that with the script. So Insha and I outlined both stories, Oh My Gods 1 and 2, very heavily together. We did a big bullet point process of where we wanted the story to start, go to and end. And we made sure that that was something we were happy with before we even got to scripting this story. But once we got that down on the page, I went to the script and put that in and just did a lot of like placeholder stuff, which then, we discussed together. And Insha would, because she had such a great sense of the characters, would replace a lot of the dialogue with more kind of unique voices and cadences. So Insha kind of went in and made sure that they all sounded how she envisioned them in their head. So there was a lot of back and forth for the script and both of us, and getting everything down on the page in a way we were both happy with. And as you can see, we have 3 of the exact same image on the page, and these are a few of the different steps that we see along the way. So we have in the blue pencil, a thumbnails, pencils stage where it's just a really loose layout, and you're trying to just get the rough idea of what's going to be on the page according to the script. So we showed you the script page before, and this is what Juliana takes and tries to translate into the art side of things. So you get a really rough idea. The editors look that over and they let her know if there's any notes. And then from there, she goes on to the inks stage, which you can see in the middle. And that is the final line art that you see before it gets sent to the colorist.
Coloring is so much fun. If you ever thought that your dream job was to sit and to play with like different like shades and lighting and textures and ink, like anything that you want with color, be a colorist. Colorist without being just like they are the unspoken heroes of comics, because they very much are.
They are. You see, like manga, Japanese comics, they're often done in black and white, and the artists have to have a really great sense of how to tell that story and use like shading and shadows and light, but with black and white. But in a lot of like Western North American comics, they're all done in color. And so it's really vital that, I mean, Juliana's art, which you can see in the middle panel here, is the final line art, and it's beautiful. She's done an amazing job. But what Whitney Koger, our colorist, has done in the last panel there, in the last section, is just extraordinary, because you take that middle panel where you don't really know, you kind of assume there's going to obviously be light coming from the window or all of these other places, but you look at the color and you see there's colors coming in, light coming in from another room at the back. You see that Zeus and Karen are probably watching a movie together, and you know that because the TV is on and you can see the light coming from that, and you can see the shadows and all of these wonderful things that give the story and the page depth.
Yeah.
And it's such a vital job. And it's not just about colors and the palettes, but it's also about, again, understanding light sources and shadows and making sure that all of that comes together to help tell the story and really set the tone and atmosphere.
And also, it's a little bit of mood too. Like, you have to kind of, like, even in this, it's so playful and they're relaxed at home. So you bring out like those blues and those purples, and even that light source coming from another room. It's just a relaxed atmosphere where a father and daughter can just sit down and eat pizza and watch a movie together. Like, feels like a movie theater, but it's not. It's just kind of relaxing at home. And like, colorist. King of the crop. Let's talk about how you can make your own character. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. So we've created a little make your own deity set. So you could draw a picture of your deity. What are they the deity of? So like, let's say, let's take Tina. And with Tina, it's obviously Athena. And then think about like, if you create a Tina from Athena, then what are they the deity of? So Athena is the goddess of wisdom, courage, law, and justice. She can also be like the goddess of many other things. Like, she's into mathematics. Why? Crafts, war, and she's also like very inspirational. So if you take all of that and you can like know what she is, that'll lead you into the next step, into what would they be known for? Like, let's say if you were to just take that little piece of what you just known about the deity and then just be like, if I created a new character, Tina, I would want them to help people. I would want them to be intelligent, and I would want them to protect anybody. I'd also want them to be super duper 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 smart, just in case anything happens. And I know with Tina, especially for me and Stephanie, we kind of think of her as the Velma of the group.
Yeah.
So we kind of like wanted another really, really good source in there too. So if you have any other inspirations, like, or any character adjacent for your deity, by all means, make them known. And then with that deity, and especially with Athena, the one symbol that she's very much known for is her owl, because she's the goddess of wisdom. And what are owls? Very wise, also judgmental. It's kind of funny that way. So we wanted to do some specific things with her owl. So we put it on her notebook. And if you see in the comic, we actually put it on her backpack as well. Because we just wanted those like little hints of what this character, what this like goddess is known for. Even with Apollo, he carries around a guitar every so often because god of music. Artemis, very good at archery, so you can make her carry around a bow and arrow.
And you can have fun with it too. You don't have to, maybe you don't know all of the things you're good at yet. That's always like a lifelong journey to kind of figure out those things, but have fun with it. What are they the deity of? For me, maybe I'm the deity of Toronto raccoons and cats. And I like, making sure that, what would I be known for? I don't know, going around and petting all the cats and knowing all the cats in the neighborhood and hanging out. And then subsequently, my symbol would be a cat. You can have fun with these, and it doesn't have to be something that, is really serious or anything like that. You can just enjoy yourself as you explore a little bit of what you think you could be kind of the patron god or goddess of.
Yeah. Like, you could do it for yourself, or you could do it for an actual god or goddess. Either one. Everything's fine.
Speaking of the fact that
Cat.
I've had my cat has come in here to aid me in my patron goddess of cats situation. So I'm sure there's a lot of you watching that are really big Greek mythology fans, just like us. So Insha and I, as we've mentioned, are big Greek mythology buffs. We have loved learning about Greek mythology since we were really little too. So for anyone who's really interested in that as well, and I hope you are, and if not, that's okay too, but let's test some of your knowledge of Greek mythology. So, my cat is going to join us for this. So, question number 1. I'm going to give you a second to think about this. So, name one mythological creature from Greek mythology. Great work. So, did you say a centaur, a gorgon, a cyclops, a pegasus, or what other ones did you name? There's not necessarily wrong answers, as there's a ton of different creatures out there. But hopefully you picked one from Greek mythology, and maybe you're really excited. Maybe you've spotted some of these in Oh My Gods if you've read them. I know there's at least one centaur that goes to school with Karen and her god and goddess friends. And then let's get into the next question. Number 2, who is known as the king of the gods? Is it A, Zeus? Is it B, a centaur? Or is it C, Pegasus? If you answered A, Zeus, you're correct. And again, if you've read our book, maybe you'll spot Zeus in that too. Question 3. Medusa's hair is made up of what creature? Again, this is a multiple choice one. So is it A, noodles, B, fire, or C, snakes? And the answer, again, hopefully you got this. If not, noodle hair and fire hair, both very cool. But the answer is, in fact, C, snakes. And then question 4, which goddess is often depicted with an owl? Seeing as we just talked about this, maybe you'll get this one. But again, if not, that's okay too. Is it A, Zeus? Is it B, Athena? Or C, Pegasus? The answer is B, Athena, or again, as she's known in Oh My Gods, Tina. And then question 5, what is one thing that Aphrodite is the goddess of? Is it A, honor, B, strength, or C, love and beauty? And the answer is C, love and beauty. Insha, did you get all those?
I did. I could not name one centaur though. So I was like, no.
That's true. And I don't think we've, really explored a lot of the mythological creatures within Oh My Gods. Again, we have some cameos from centaurs and other things, but I don't think any of them have really been given names. That's something for us to consider down the line.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's it for us.
Yeah.
You all got to meet my cat Kaylee. We talked about Greek mythology and
learned how to make your own characters
and learned a little bit about the comic book process and what it takes to make one. There's lots more to it, but hopefully we shed some light on that, as well as maybe piqued your interest in Greek mythology if that's not something you're already into. We have a challenge for you. If you were a god or goddess from ancient Greek mythology, who would you be?
Share your deity with us by clicking on the add response button below, and we're looking forward to seeing your deity.